Bersatu you, Chief. You were the special guest in the Lanka Wan Faisal, who barged into your press con, pushed you aside, and took center stage. But anyway, all jokes aside, he is another example of a problem in politics today. He represents a politician who leverages on trends. He doesn't really say anything that, to me, doesn't. I want to hear my MPs talk about policies. I want to hear them talk about reforms. I don't want to hear them talk about small. For example, he once suggested that Grab was a private entity that fell under Ministry of Finance. And this is a member of parliament. He also recently in parliament, we saw YB Pendang accuse YB Jerutong of being anti-Muslim.
That's different.
Yeah, but this is all from that same block, right? And we've grown accustomed to this racial, religious rhetoric that's coming out from that side. Do you think that the current crop of politicians will gravitate to your form of liberal and inclusive politics?
Okay, let me go one by one, right? Number one,
sorry, too many questions. Sorry.
No, it's perfectly fine. To be fair, and I have to be fair to YB1. When he appeared at the end of my run, at the final stage, I invited MPs from both sides, including friends from Pakatan Harapan. But the ones who turned up was actually YB Razi Jidin and also YB Wan Mat Faisal.
Yes.
And I remember there's one particular instance, people say, oh, he took the limelight because during the PC he spoke. I mean, people forget actually before the PC, I spoke first.
Yeah.
And I opened it up to everyone. It wasn't just him. There were a few other MPs who spoke. But obviously, I think there's some very naughty people who just singled him out. You know what's funny? People didn't speak much about YB Putrajaya. He was there. He was there from the beginning.
He was there, I saw
so I think that's just one point to make. And I, especially as a member of opposition, on an issue which is as important as this, I need the support of as many MPs as possible. I cannot be arrogant. I mean, he is elected YB of Machang with a huge majority, right? And that is an UMNO stronghold which he dislodged, and he's the elected rep. So that's one. Two, obviously there are issues where there are disagreements. There are some issues which even he disagreed with me, right? I mean, he was my former officer before, and then he became the deputy minister and also took my post as a youth chief. Is there any hard feelings for me? To be honest, none. I don't harbor hard feelings. But for an example, some issues which involve race and religion, obviously there are disagreements. And I've made that quite public. However, does it mean, for an example, on every single issue in parliament, people will have the same train of thought as I do? Of course not.
No.
What I can tell you, sir, is that issues which revolve around race and religion, sadly, pervade not just one particular side as well. Because in parliament, I mean, and I follow parliamentary debates very, very well. I think my attendance in parliament is 100%. I engage in many, many debates. I try myself to get on the debate list almost all the time. Some I am successful, some I'm not. What I can say, and this is me being fair to the opposition, sure there are those who will occasionally, you mentioned a few guys at Pendang. Pendang is quite naughty, who will bring the issues of race and religion. But I think if there is someone who actually does research, and I'm pretty sure there could be parliamentary researchers who look at the handset, right, and use AI, and look out of like 100%, what will the opposition talk about? Maybe 10, 20%, there will be issues of race and religion, but 80% are actually substantive policy issues. Sad part is, because it doesn't capture people's imagination or the media, it doesn't get talked about. I mentioned one other example, YB Fadli Sha'ari, right, from PAS. I saw his speech at one point in time in parliament. He was speaking about minimum wage. He was talking about paid internships. He was talking about ensuring that reforms lead to decentralization of control of power, And then there's one thing which he mentioned about religion. Obviously, front page, it became about the last thing which he mentioned, which he only mentioned less than 1 minute, Okay. So that's just one thing to mention as well. But if you want me to also mention how the other side plays race and religion, I can. And I can give you a whole list of things in parliament which they do exactly the same as well, right?